So this session we are going to be working on a glute activation, focusing on our pelvic positioning and spinal control. We're going to need a small ball for this session, and we're going to start by laying down on your back. We can just pop the ball to the side for the moment and just bringing your heels underneath the crease of the knee. You should be able to just brush them with the tips of your fingertips. And just taking a moment, breathing into the body and just feeling the neutral spine, the shoulders pressing into the ground. And just finding a heaviness through the tailbone and both hip bones. And just finding a moment of stillness. On your exhale, we're going to start by just tilting the pelvis under, drawing on the string attached to the pubis bone and pulling it towards the belly button. Our ribs drawing down towards the hips and the abdominals knitting together into the front of the body like a corset. As we inhale, we release. And exhale to curl. Just moving through this a few times. Careful not to jam the lower back all the way down into the floor. It's just a slight switching on of these muscles. Good. On your next one, we're going to tuck the tailbone and we're going to keep following this line of movement, curling all the way, pushing up onto the shoulders into our glute bridge. And then as we exhale, lengthening from the armpits, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling the spine back down onto the floor. So inhale to prepare, exhale to start the curl with the pelvis, drawing all the way up, feeling the sit bones reaching down towards the knees and the knees slightly internally rotating. Breathing in at the top, and then as we exhale, lengthening from those armpits, drawing vertebrae by vertebrae all the way back down to the floor. Inhaling to prepare. Exhale, we lift. Pulling on that string of the pubis bone towards the belly button at the top of the movement. Good, really reaching those sit bones down towards the base of the knees. Good, and so we should start to feel a warmness now through the belly, through the glutes, slightly into the hamstrings. So you can move through these as slow as you would like, feeling the articulation of the spine, the correct activation of the glutes without thrusting the hips forward. Keeping that lower core connected. We're going to go for 2 more like this. Last one. So you can look down the body as we do this, just ensuring that both hip bones stay level. Now on our next one, we're going to press up into our glute bridge and then just lower to tap the hips or the lower back onto the ground. So inhale to lower, exhale to lift. And we're just going to start moving through these a little bit quicker. So keep pulling on that string of the pubis bone. This is going to stop us from extending the hips too far forward and arching through the lower back. Thinking about those sit bones drawing down towards the back of the knees. And then that slight little internal rotation at the knee to keep them in line with the hips. We're going to go for 10. 8, 7, 6, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Coming all the way down, untucking that tailbone, and now grabbing a hold of your ball, placing the ball in between the knees. And then we want to squeeze the knees together slightly so that we have a little bit of tension on the ball here. Now we're going to continue holding that slight squeeze throughout these movements. We're now going to bring some of this activation into the inner thighs. So exhale, we're going to lift and press the hips up, coming all the way down as we inhale. Good. So most important thing here throughout this movement is holding on to this slight little tilt of the pelvis. So you can notice that when I don't hold it and I let go, I can get all the way to here, but we want this nice position of the body here, where the ribs are drawing down towards the hips. And we have a nice line from shoulder to hip to knee. Beautiful. So we're just going to move through a few more here, like this. Starting to feel the warmth through the back of the legs and the glutes. We're going to go for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, last one, holding at the top here. Now keeping the hips high, we're just going to squeeze and release that ball. Even pressure through each squeeze and release. So we're not bouncing through these, they're intentional, controlled movements. Keeping those hips high. We're going to go for 10 more. 8, 7, 6, good. Keep breathing through it. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting the heels now up off the ground, lowering the hips all the way down to touch, and then lifting up towards the roof. That's it. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, good. Keep squeezing, keep reaching those sit bones down towards the back of the knees. 7, drawing those ribs down towards the hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, holding at the top. 1, little lower, little lift with the hips. So it's just down an inch, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep breathing, 4, 3, 2, 1, good. Heels come down, holding at the top here, squeeze and releasing with that ball. Feeling that burn. We're going to go for 10, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Keep a slight squeeze on that ball now. Hips come to touch and we lift. This is the last little bit here, then we come down for a rest. That's it. Keep pulling on that string of the pubis bone towards the belly button, drawing those ribs down towards the hips. We're going to go for 10, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice, coming all the way down, hugging those knees in towards the chest. Your glutes should be on fire. Alrighty. So, keeping a hold of the ball, we're going to place this under our left knee first, and we're going to keep this leg into our tabletop position. So this right leg is going to come up so that the heel is underneath the crease of the knee. We're going to inhale to prepare, exhale to slightly tuck that tailbone under, feeling that lower deep core connect, and then pushing up into our right leg. So as we move through these, you might find that you can't get quite so high, which is fine. We're trying to keep the control of this pelvis position. We don't want to dump into the right hip, so keeping our hips nice and level. That's it. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding at the top, little pulses. Good. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8. Hang in there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming all the way down. Keeping this knee here. Our right leg is going to come up. As we lower, we're going to flex the foot. As we lift the leg to come to the ceiling, we point. So we're painting the side of the room. So feeling it into the core now. Keeping a hold of this position through the abdominals. That's it. So careful that we don't want to let that go when our leg comes down towards the floor. And if you find that by moving this leg, your pelvis starts to move, we want to find that range. So your bottom range will be where you can go down without the lower back lifting. and your range at the top will stop or begin as soon as the tailbone wants to lift up off the floor. So we're just painting the wall, lifting and lowering that leg within the range that we can find that pelvis stability. We're going to go for 5 more. Last 3, 2, and 1. Nice, coming all the way down. That ball is going to come underneath our right knee now. We're going to move straight onto the other leg. So we're going to inhale to prepare, exhale to slightly tuck that tailbone under, drawing those ribs down towards the hips, and then pushing through the heel and lifting up through that left leg. Nice. We're going to go for 10 more here. That's 7. 5, 4, 3, holding at the top. 1, little lower, little lift. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, coming all the way down. That left leg's going to come up towards the roof and flexing the foot down towards the ground, pointing as we come back up. That's it. So moving into the lower abs here. We're going to go for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking a hold of the ball, we're now going to go into our scissors. So as that knee comes in, the ball comes underneath, and we switch. So keeping this pelvis alignment, just bending through the knees, figure of 8 with the ball, feeling it into those lower abs. We're going to do 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and 1. Going into straight leg, touching that toe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice, hugging those knees in towards the chest. And just taking some nice slow breaths. Letting that heart rate come back down. Beautiful. So just bringing one foot over one knee into like a figure 4, then threading that hand in between the hole of your knee and your other leg, and just then grabbing onto the shin and pulling that shin down towards you. Stretching through that right glute. Pressing that right knee out towards the side. Just getting into this stretch a little bit deeper. And then holding onto the outside seam of that right foot with your left hand. We're then going to send that left leg out long and then just pulling that foot up towards the head, pressing that knee out and just getting into the back of the hamstring, the glutes, the inner thighs. Beautiful. Swapping over, so that right knee is going to be bent, bringing that left ankle across the knee, grabbing onto the shin and then pulling that leg down towards the chest. Pressing that knee, if you can, a little bit further out to the side. And then grabbing a hold of that outside seam, right leg extends out long, and then pulling that foot up towards the head, pressing the knee out, really getting nice and deep into the back of the leg here. And then stretching that leg all the way out long. And then you can roll to the side and come all the way up. And we are all done.